Welcome. In this Try It Out activity, we're going to be thinking about how we might design an app to conduct surveys. In particular, we're concerned about how we might process questions that are based off a Likert scale. Okay, so let's sketch this out. So I want to conduct a survey, and I'm going to ask a question. Surveys these days tend to be a little bit biased, so bear with me here. But what we're looking at doing is we'd like to create a way of responding, and maybe what we'll do is we'll use a slider mechanism. And here's where the processing comes in, because the slider by itself just collects values. But what I'd like to be able to do is capture the response and then give it a value of piece of text associated with it. So for example, if the slider is here, we say neutral. If the slider is over on this side, we say strongly agree. Maybe somewhere in the middle we say agree, disagree, and strongly disagree. Right? So I want these to be values. 0 is, no, let's start it this way. 1 is strongly disagree. 2 equals disagree. 3 equals neutral. 4 is strongly agree. Oops, 4 is just agree. And 5 is strongly agree. Okay? Seems pretty straightforward so far, right? But one of the things about doing surveys is sometimes if we get a really extreme answer, either strongly agree or strongly disagree, we want some further elaboration. So maybe what I'd like is an extra text box here that says, why do you like kittens so much? Right? But we only want this to appear if their answer is strongly agree. Okay? So here's what I want you to try out. I'd like you to try to implement this. Again, the basic functionality is we have a slider. Based on the slider's position, I'm going to display one of these responses. And if I happen to be either strongly agree or strongly disagree, make the user follow up. Right? With this text box. Okay? Now, a couple things I want to call to your attention before you get started with this. One is, I think you need to be careful about the way that you process this information. You have to look at the way that the slider actually gives you input. What are the values that it allows? It's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, unfortunately. So you need to be kind of careful about that. If you're confused by this, if you're struggling with this, if this is only popping up periodically, for example, you may want to use a notifier to temporarily show you what value you have displaying here. The other thing is, we didn't talk about making this text box visible or not. You know, the idea I'm looking for is when it's over here, this is visible, and when it's in this middle range here, it's not visible. We didn't really talk about that explicitly, But I bet you can figure out, by the way I'm talking about that, what you need to do to make that appear. Remember, what controls the appearance of components? Hint, hint. Okay. One of the other things that I love about this model of these try-it-out activities is I am certain that if you implement this exactly the way I've asked, you're going to still have questions. You're going to say, well, what is this? What happens when I want more than one of these things? Or what happens, how do I make it behave this way or that way? You can tinker with it a little bit, right? I strongly encourage you to do that. Play with this a little bit and see if you can make it your own. You'll have the opportunity to share your work on the forums if you want, to show off some of your modifications, some of the ways that you've personalized this try-it-out activity. All right, as usual, the code for this will be posted online, or my version of the code will be posted for this online. Don't peek at it until you've had a good try at it yourself, though. Okay? Let's have at it.